Go. Hey guys, it's Frankie Dee, and welcome to the Real Radio Show. I have a special guest, Gene Simmons, the rock icon himself from Kiss. Mr. Simmons, welcome to the Real Radio Show.
I appreciate it. What does the D stand for?
D is like Dee Snider, D. Ramone, D-E-E.
Like Joey D and the Starlighters.
I wouldn't get that far.
you never heard of Joey D and the Starlighters?
Well, that was in the 50s. I know that stuff.
No. 62 actually. The Peppermint Twist. The name of the dance is the Peppermint Twist. Joey D.
Well, didn't Chubby Checker write it? Because Chubby's a good friend of mine.
No, you're kidding. I grew up on Chubby. No, that's Peppermint Twist for Joey D. Chubby covered a song called The Twist that was originally put out by Hank Ballard and the Midnighters.
Wow.
It was not a hit. He covered it, and his name had just changed from Ernest Evans, and he became Chubby Checker because Dick Clark's wife, Candy, told me she named him Chubby Checker for the show because he reminded her so much of Fats Domino. You get it? Chubby, Fats, Domino, Checker. Chubby Checker.
Gotcha.
She named him. And then he did Let's Twist Again on Parkaway Records with Cal Mann and Dave Appel producing and writing all those songs. Don't get me started. I will drown you in minutia.
Gee, you drowned me yesterday. We were on the phone, off the air for about a half an hour talking about Jesus and your encounter with Brian Welch of Korn. And I wish Brian was on the phone with me because he could have bailed me out on a lot of things that you threw at me.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody says. Whatever gets you through the day and makes you a nice person is the only thing that counts. Doesn't matter if it's logical or illogical.
Absolutely.
Someplace in the Polynesian islands, there may be a guy worshiping a rock. That makes no sense to everybody, but it makes him into a better person. So
right.
That's the only important.
Quick thing. First of all, I want to congratulate my niece and her husband, Dominique and Dan, for their baby. I am a great uncle, Mr. Simmons. April 22nd, 2025 at 7:46 a.m., 6 pounds and 15 ounces, Dean Joseph Rivers. So to my niece and Dan, I love you guys. Thank you for this beautiful gift. Isn't that awesome, Mr. Simmons?
Of course, and I'm sure they appreciate you being nice to them on the air.
Can you say something in a Jewish, like congratulations or something like that? How do you say that? Hebrew, like congratulations, like how they say that?
Mazal Tov, or as Americans say, Mazel Tov, which translated meaning luck good, or in English, good luck, but it doesn't translate well. It means kind of like the very best to you.
Oh, cool. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Simmons. I appreciate that. Is Kiss a band or a brand?
Sure.
Sure what?
Sure, all of it. Why do you have to pick?
Because when Kiss first started in 1977, when I started following them when I was a kid, I remember that band that's still phenomenal to this day. But then I saw the brand side, and the reason I'm bringing this up, I spoke to John Moyer from the band Disturbed, and also Brian from Korn, and we talked about it. And they said, you know what? Kiss is not just a band; it's a brand. And Gene,
they're right.
Yeah, and Gene made this empire, this brand. I mean, Kiss is like on everything.
But you, in those days when we first started in 73, 74, 1873, 74. See, I made a joke there. Nobody did that stuff. It's not credible. Not supposed to be cool. But I didn't care about that. Neither did the guys in the band. You just were shocked that anybody would be interested in letting us do this kind of stuff. It's fun. So the idea of trying to be a credible band, who cares? Have fun and then you die. That's all there is. Right. So since then, we've literally had over 5,000 licensed and merchandised products. And I'm going to do the joke in a second. Everything from condoms to caskets, we'll get you coming and we'll get you going. See what I did there?
I like that one. You never fail to amaze me, Gene. Never.
I never fail to amaze myself.
Another question, Gene. Did Peter play drums on the studio track on Alive 2?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yes, but he didn't play a stick of anything on the entire Unmasked album.
He didn't, because you know what? My neighbor Alex, he's a big Kisstorian buff. You like that? Kisstorian? Is that pretty good or no?
That's really good. These are semantics, but I'm not anti-semantic.
Right, gotcha. Okay, so my neighbor Alex, big Kiss buff, Kisstorian, and he says, when you speak to Gene, ask him, did Peter play the drums on the studio track of Alive 2? And I said, yeah, I will ask him.
He did. There were 5 songs on that, and he did play drums on that. But shortly thereafter, I don't know, within a year or two, we did a record called Unmasked, and Peter's went into an unhealthy place, and we used a guy named Anton Fig,
right,
who was the drummer on the Letterman show. And Anton had actually been in a group called Spider, who was managed by the same management company. And I knew Anton because when I wrote songs and I needed a band to record some of the stuff, demos, I used the Spider guys. So Anton played on some of the demos I did.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah. A couple years back, when you guys did your final farewell tour at the Garden, I saw it on pay-per-view with my neighbor and all that stuff, and it was awesome. I gotta say, it was awesome. I loved it, and I have a different ending, and I wanted to share it with you because you're a marketing genius, and I think I'm pretty good at marketing. And I was telling my neighbor, I said, wouldn't it be cool? Now, this is before I even saw the Avatar thing, going on at the end. And I'm like, is Ace going to come out? Is Peter going to come out at the end? So I
asked both of them if they wanted to come out on the end. They said no. How many chances does life give you, by the way?
That's a good question.
No, it's a very simple question.
Go ahead.
Whether you're a baby or Hitler or a good person or a bad person, you put your hand in the fire and it'll burn you exactly the same way, no matter who and what you are. Life gives you one chance. Ace and Peter, who we love, and I've been talking with Peter and Ace, and there's no animosity. We shared something magical at the beginning of the band, but they were in and out of the band 3 separate times.
Right. Can I ask you something, Gene?
How many chances do you get?
No, absolutely. You know what? I respect that. I went through different lineups on the Real Radio Show with co-hosts and egos, and I've been there. I've done that. I understand that. What saddens me, and I don't like the way the media spins certain things because they try to make you and Peter and Ace are rivals and all.
Don't forget your point. What saddens you is
okay. Here's what saddens me. You guys really love each other, and I know deep down inside when
you're going off on a tangent. What saddens you is
when Peter had cancer. It broke my heart, and nobody ever said how Gene and Paul was there for him. And I know
that's an outright lie.
I know that, and I know deep down inside you guys were there. So, and what I'm getting at was it was sad that the media out there could not show the kindness regardless of your differences.
But life goes on, and you can't control everything.
Yeah, but I find that
people are gonna like you or hate you, and that's just you're a public figure, and not everybody likes Jesus either. So
that's true too. But it's like. I have met Ace. I have interviewed Peter. Sweetheart, and you've been really awesome to me, Gene. We know I know Pamela. Stanley.
People have no idea what you're talking about with Pamela.
Well, Pamela is Paul Stanley's ex-wife, and I met.
Now they know.
Yeah, now they know. But Pamela introduced me to her son Evan. Which is Paul's son. Brilliant.
He's great. He's brilliant. Yeah, he's great.
He reminds me a lot like his mom. The mannerisms. Yeah. Am I right, Gene?
It is, yeah. And I want to say that this is one of the most unique interviews I've ever done, and I've done thousands of them.
Thank you, Gene. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just want, I don't want to do the typical baloney, Gene, like, kiss this and all that. And typical, I like to know, I want people to know about Gene Simmons, the man, the kind man. Not the stuff that the media.
Well, we had a reality show called Gene Simmons Family Jewels for 167 episodes.
Loved it.
And I thought, scars and all, or scabs and all.
Yes, true.
We showed pretty much everything there was to show.
The whole idea is when you came on that show, Kiss had the 40th anniversary. When you came on my show when I was on WRCN, the old rock station, it was the 40th anniversary tour, and you did a call-in, and you talked about Family Jewels. And at the time, my co-host, Henry Kay, he was with me. He passed away in 2015, unfortunately. But he loved that interview that we did together. But Family Jewels was amazing, and you talked about the incident that why the real reason why you got fired from Celebrity Apprentice from Donald Trump. He fired you. So you want to recap that?
Yeah, I mean, at once I signed on, and I beat the other team literally in the first 5 minutes.
Yes, you did. Yes,
and that's why Trump put me as the captain of the opposing team, which were all females. It was males against females. And in the first phone call I made, I beat the female team by the amount of money I raised for charity. And so he put me as the captain of the female team. Now, and then I found out that we had a tour starting in 3 weeks or 4 weeks in Australia, which meant I had to get off the show, go into rehearsals and do all that stuff. So how do I say this in the nicest way? I arranged, there was no hanky-panky. I was just became difficult and made sure that Omarosa, who was supposed to be the evil person on the show, survived, and I got kicked out.
Right. Which I knew something was up, because that is your... marketing is your thing. I couldn't figure that out. I'm like, Gene gets fired from Celebrity Apprentice. All right, Kiss has a tour. Something's going on with Kiss.
Yeah.
and I was right. Gene, you know what? You are 75 years young. You look amazing.
75 as far as I know, but that's okay.
God bless you for that. And you are an inspiration to the young generation. I'm 61, but you give us guys hope. Wearing the makeup, wearing the big heels in your 70s, and I look at that and I'm like, that is unbelievable. Yeah. And people really don't. I do a deep dive.
It's flipping burgers.
Yeah, it's more than just flipping burgers. You're flying, you're spitting out blood, you're breathing fire in your 70s, Gene.
And you have a pastrami on rye with extra mustard.
I don't know how you do it. How do you get into that mindset, Gene? Before you go on that stage, what gives you that?
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Your questions, by the way, are wonderful, but they're paragraphs long.
Sorry, sir.
I have to. You didn't do anything wrong. I mean, it's flowery. You should be a writer.
Thank you.
The answer is, if God, and I'll pose it to you in the form of a question.
Go ahead.
If God, or whatever you believe in, gives you 24 hours of life starting right now.
Okay.
What are you going to do? Watch the ball game and just wait to die? Or you're going to get up off your lazy ass and go do stuff, do work, be kind to somebody, kiss a pretty girl, do something. Don't take life for granted. Don't do drugs. Don't become an alcoholic. Don't smoke cigarettes. Don't do the obvious thing that your mom kept telling you.
Right.
So there's no,
I understand it.
There is such a thing as your DNA. Some people are just designed. They can't do anything about it, and they start getting old at 60 or 70 or whatever. And, some people run marathons at 95.
Right. Absolutely, yeah. I understand where you're coming from. It's like, you have one life, and you don't know how long you have, so you want to give it all you got each morning you wake up in the morning.
Or not. It's your life. You can do whatever you want.
Right, exactly. I'm a go-getter, always was, still am, and I love life and I love people, and I'm energized every time I do the radio show. I'm energized every time I meet, rock stars, that I grown fond and became friends with. We talk, and it energizes me. I like to see their viewpoints. I like to hear your viewpoints on personal stuff, Gene. You know what I'm saying? And so, this was really really good discussion. It really was. I really enjoyed it. But before
you're very kind. You're a powerful and attractive man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the radio drop, by the way, when we were on RCN. Actually, it's on the realradioshow.com. Plug. You see where I went with that, Gene?
No, I missed that.
The realradioshow.com. There is you doing a radio drop. I put the really cool graphics, and you doing a radio drop for us.
Good.
And thank you so much. And
I'm glad it worked out.
I just want to tell everybody out there, my listeners, guys, Gene Simmons is the real deal. He's a kind-hearted person on the air and off the air.
All right, settle down.
No, I'm not kissing up to you, Gene. I'm not kissing up to you. I'm just.
Your heart is very vulnerable. Just be careful.
Yeah, well, that got me into a lot of trouble. That's why I'm staying single for 4.5 years. I've been single for 4.5 years, Gene. That's uncalled for me. That never happens.
Okay.
Can you give me some advice, Gene?
Welcome to True Confessions.
Oh man, too funny. Before I go, and we don't have to go into a rabbit hole with this one. I just want to resurface just a little bit on this. I told you off the air, I did a Q&A with Brian Head Welch of Korn last year at the Holiday Inn in New Jersey. We did a Q&A and all that, and how he talks about his walk with Christ and all that. And me and you got into a whole big conversation. It was pretty wild. But he was talking about how he met you. And it was around, I think, 2015, 2016, he was saying. And Korn went up and to get a picture, because everybody else was getting their picture done. And you turned around, and Brian did your voice. It was really funny. Brian, he did it like this. Are you the Jesus guy in the band? And Brian says, yes, I am. And you said, Jesus was Jewish. And Brian said, yes, he was. And you took a picture, and that was it. But you said there was more to the conversation?
I'm sure there was much more. I'm sure I wouldn't have, I love the sound of my own voice, and I wouldn't have kept the comment only a sentence long. No, but it bears noting, and I did the same thing to you. People of faith, and it's a wonderful thing, by the way. It helps you through life, keeps you, makes you a better person, which is a reminder that my people gave the rest of you guys the honor your mother and father, do not kill, and all of that through God, of course. The Ten Commandments, the Bible, and the New Testament. But it bears noting that the people of faith I've met that has enriched their life with their faith know very little about their faith. They know next to nothing. They know ritual. You're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, but have no idea there was a real human being that walked the face of the earth that today people call Jesus Christ. He actually existed. And I told this to you because we know there was a Jewish scribe who worked for the Romans, who was fluent in Latin and other languages, including Hebrew and Aramaic, and he kept records in the Middle East for the Romans. And one of the records was who paid taxes, which males, because only men were allowed to hold land, which males owned land, which were troublemakers, and which were crucified, who paid taxes, who didn't. And in the Vatican, there is a record of a Rabbi Yesu ben Yosef, Rabbi Jesus, son of Joseph. That's his given name.
Wow.
And people today think that the real person, the human being who walked around, was named Jesus Christ. Clearly, that's not the case, and Mom and Dad were not Mr. and Mrs. Christ. Christ comes from the Latin Christo, which means Messiah, a Hebrew word, Mashiach, the Messiah, or King, Melech. And so that's why often in the New Testament and sometimes in prayer, he's called the Christ, like the president, right? Nobody would say the Gene or the Simmons.
I like
right?
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
or the Christ child. Nobody would say the Simmons child or the Gene's, right? So, or you'd say Christ Jesus, in the same way that you would say Dr. Bob or President Trump, right?
Right.
Title. So Christ is a title, not a name. And people don't know that. And there's so much more. And I believe that people's faith would be enriched. The more research you did, the more you do, the more you know, the richer your faith will be.
Interesting.
Instead of just blindly following dictum, dictum, Latin,
Wow.
which is just ritual.
Interesting stuff, Mr. Simmons. Gene, sorry. Gene. Listen, I know you're pressed for time. I thank you so much for chatting with me here on the Real Radio Show.
My pleasure. You're a good guy, and I'm not going to do the joke about the jail stuff because people get upset. You're a good guy, and Pam Stanley speaks highly of you, and that's good enough for me.
Thank you, and she's an awesome person, and you know, Gene, you have an open door anytime you want to be on the platform, and you know,
thank you.
By all means, you know, and I love a lot of your interviews that you have done with Bill Maher and all that stuff, and Howie. You know, I seen a couple of those, but they never go into the deep dive like me and you, like the things that we talk about that people don't talk about.
Well, because generally they like jokes.
Yeah, but you know, how many times can you hear the same joke? You know,
I give up.
Gene, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go, my friend. You want to plug anything before you go?
No. But anybody who's curious can go to genesimmons.com.
Yes, and we have the Gene Simmons Band at the Paramount May 9th. So check it out, everybody. It's awesome. And Gene, your voice is unbelievable. I mean, you don't miss a beat. You know, it's pretty fascinating at your age.
You should actually see me up close. I'm stunning.
Gene, much love to you and your family, and we're gonna have Nick and Evan on the show soon. As soon as Evan has some stuff for me to play, and we're gonna promote the duo group. Can I ask you one question? I know this is really a lot of people wanted me to ask you this, and I really didn't want to ask you this, but I'm gonna ask you this anyway because it kind of makes sense. Again, I talked to Michael Sweet, and when Kiss was about to end.
What's the question?
All right, the question was that why wouldn't it make sense to have Nick take your place and Evan take Paul's place and carry on the Kiss tradition, the legacy?
Well, for one thing, they don't want to.
You don't think that's going to change later on?
No.
Supply and demand?
No. I believe that what you want for your kids, and it's totally up to them, it's their life, is for them to forge their own path, not just be a copy.
It's not a copy because they're both individually very talented.
Well, it is a copy. It's not their own thing. It's not their own band. And by the way, I wouldn't have a child and name the child Gene Simmons Jr. That's just not. It doesn't give the child, your offspring, a chance.
Well, but Nick Simmons wearing the makeup, you know.
The answer is no.
Well, okay. That's it.
It's one of the accepted words in the English language. It's just as good as yes, but no is also a real word.
Right.
Anyway, somebody just came in and gave me the stink eye, which means I've got to move on. Pleasure to talk to you, and I look forward to the next time.